For freshly brewed discussion on automotive sales and marketing, this is Coffee with Jason. The Coffee with Jason podcast is sponsored by Closer's Coffee. For that full-bodied, rich, sweet flavor with a bright acidity, drink Closer's Coffee, stay caffeinated, and keep on closing. Find out more at closerscoffee.ca.
You guys get to work with a lot of dealerships. Do you have an example right now that you just, I mean, sure, there's a handful you're probably working with right now. It's like these guys are just really crushing it.
Yeah.
You know, is there any examples maybe you can give us that we can, you know, like you said, because what you said about surrounding people that are kind of executing this, right?
Yeah. The one that we've worked with the most and we have the most pervasive brand initiative with is the Sun Automotive Group in Syracuse, New York. We have shifted the model from primarily sales-based material to brand first material. And there have been a lot of operational shifts as well that have gone on, right? And just to indicate, we could have done amazing brand, like beautiful videos and really connected stuff. But if they came in and had a bad experience or it didn't add up, then it would fall apart in 2 months. So, I mean, there's been a lot of operational changes. This dealership just moved to a one price model. But the dealer used to be known as the used car king, right? The dealer principal's name is Todd Caputo, and it was Todd Caputo, the used car king, right? That was the brand. That was what people knew. But in this new, like that worked 10 years ago, right? Very successful, right? Because there's this element of a value warehouse and like, you know, like I'm going to get a deal and like car culture and like what it was and consumer expectations. But now you realize that pricing is really pretty similar across the board. And once people realize that, you're like, well, price is no longer a differentiator. Then what are we trading on really?
Sure.
And, you know, we're trading on attention and connection. So we've really revamped the entire brand. Is now it's Sun, SUN stands for simple, upfront, and nice. So now the Sun Auto Group is simple, upfront, nice. And really we talk about the feelings that we want to elicit from those things. So when we make content, and like all the content isn't even going to be viewable if you go search it, because a lot of it's done in, you know, targeted Facebook ads. A lot of it's done in like community management. We still run a little bit of TV, but the material is based around what we think the customer really wants.
Yeah.
Instead of what we really want them to do. Big difference between asking them constantly, you know, saying, buy here, do this, do this, do this. Instead, we're saying like, don't you kind of feel this way? And we want the customer to be like, I do kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
Right. And it's definitely a progressive, and Todd is a very progressive thinker. I would consider him easily within the top 10% of progressive thinkers in the industry, because you're talking about someone who just built an amazing big facility, you know, a number of years ago, and realizes now that people don't want to come in. So he's doing everything he can, honestly, to incentivize people and let them know, hey, you don't have to come in. Right. That takes a lot of detachment from what I really want to be the truth and what the actual truth is.
Yeah,
I
no
really
kidding.
want the truth to be people love to come to shop for a car. But I realize the actual truth is that they don't. Right. Back to that initial mindset, like very bad beginning of our conversation. What's the first thing you do? Well, you realize like, what do you want to accomplish? Well, I want to understand the actual truth. So that's the best example. And we have some others that we're in the middle of initiatives with that we'll have a lot more to show and talk about soon. But some other groups that do it great in the U.S., I think Maury's Automotive Group, the Midwest does it well. Champ Automotive does it well. You look at obviously disruptive companies like Carvana, who will say they're not a dealer, right? We're not a dealer. We sell cars. We're not a dealer. You know, and they capitalize on the customer sentiment. So you go watch Carvana ads on YouTube and you realize really quickly, once you get past that offense, right? Like, oh, they're painting me in a bad light. It's like, no, actually, they're taking the same customer data that I hear at every conference I go to, which is only dealers in the room, the same data. And they're saying, oh, well, we're just going to create content that empathizes with that data.
Well,
right? So they didn't come up with it. No. We're just listening to the customer and saying, hey, let's try to give you what you want.
That's cool. Thank you so much for the examples. And I really encourage anybody that's on here to check some of these guys out. Look, it's a process, right? And like we said, we stated this is at least a minimum of a 12-month process. And it starts with your team. It flows into your brand and what your brand stands for and those pillars or those cornerstones, and then let those things define out what your processes are. And then those processes become the stories that now your marketing team is able to go forward and push out. They're really making the differentiation between doing business with you versus doing business with others.